Welcome to a new video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. All the doctors head to the meeting room to discuss the details regarding the patient. Junji explains that it must be a migraine, and that from the view of Chinese medicine, we need to first nourish the internal organs and livers. Dermu also agrees and suggests prescribing according to their perspectives. Dermu asks Tian if he has a different opinion, and Tian replies that he had the same idea, and that they can all submit their prescription to see which one works best. Country Etian hands in their prescription, and the doctor applauds their prescription. Dr. Jin criticizes Tian and tells him that when the results are announced, the smug look on his face will be gone, and that he won't be as arrogant as he was yesterday. Tian tells him that no matter what the outcome is, his smug look won't change a bit. Just then, the head doctor yells and asks who wrote this prescription. The doctors are hesitant and say that it must belong to Tian, and they are worried if he wrote something absurd. Dr. Jin laughs and asks what would have Tian written that made the doctor so angry. Chan asks what seems to be the problem, to which the doctor replies that what has he written, and how can anyone read this? Even Dr. Wu is a bit confused as to why Tian would write the prescription in pure Chinese. Tan replies that he thought it was something serious, and that it's just the language, and he had thought the head doctor was an expert in Chinese, but it seems he overestimated his Chinese. Tian suggests that he can read it out loud for everyone's ease. Dr. Jin taunts Tian that he doesn't need to make lame excuses just because he can't win. He tells him that he can't win by playing such tricks. Shin takes back the prescription and tells Dr. Jin that he shouldn't be amused by such small things. Tian explains in his prescription that the patient was feeling pain and that his face was red. The tongue was weak and thin, which suggests weakness in the liver and kidney. He tells the herbs they need and gives instructions to aid the patient. The head doctor is amazed. Tian asks him for the verdict of this battle. The head doctor says that even though he's a doctor from country F, competition is a competition, and that he will not favor any side and give the results fairly no matter who wins. He awards China the win and steps back from the round. Even Jinsu is shocked that they won this round. The other doctors are equally shocked that China wins directly, and they even concede. Dr. Jin is furious and can't believe it. He asks who they could have lost without even waiting for the patient's result. That night, the China team went out and celebrated their victory. The chairman Zhao even applauded Tian that this first win is a big morale booster for them, and that he really did them a favor. Tian says that it's all right and thinks that it's a celebration, so they should get drunk. Dr. Wu also praises Tian that his medical skills are the best and no one is a match for him. Dr. Wu asks Chairman Zhao if he knows any beautiful women, and as a thank you, he can introduce Tian to them. Chairman Zhu laughs and says that all the beautiful women of his age would be a bit too old for Tian, and even asks Tian of his opinion. Tian, who was drunk at that moment, tells them that they don't know what they are talking about and that older women have the most flavor, and he heads out for a stroll. He clumsily walks around while being drunk and thinks that he should take some pills to counter the alcohol. But as he is thinking this, he sees a figure in the distance which resembles Miss Yu. He is greeting Miss Yu when he is struck on his head and he falls down. The next day, Tian wakes up in the hotel bedroom all dazed. His head hurts and he thinks about last night and if he was hit with something on his head. He thinks, why would someone knock him out? He begins to question why he was naked and recalls a cool dream last night. He had dreamt about a pretty girl and that he had fun with her. But the thought just startles him. He knows that it must have been a reality. He looks over and sees Yu, who was in the bed with him and crying. Tian thinks to himself that was the dream he had a reality, and did he accidentally screw Yu? He is confused and thinks about how Yu is here and what she is doing in Country Edge. He also wonders who is plotting all this. Just then the phone rings and Chan answers it. A voice on the phone tells Tan if this was his present and if he likes it. Chan yells at him and asks why he had done such a thing and why Yu of all people. What is his vendetta against him? But the mysterious person cuts the call. Tian throws away the phone in anger. Chin tells Yu that he had no idea it was her and that he was drunk. He explains to her that they are being set up and that if she knows how they got here. Yu simply tells Tian to forget about today. Chin is shocked and he asks her if she cares at all. How can she be so calm when in reality she would never let a man sit next to her, let alone touch her? He tries to ask her, but Yu pulls away in anger and tells Tian that she does not have any clue. She only knows that they are being set up. Shin understands her pain and asks if she will find out the culprit. Yu in anger vows that she will find out who is behind all this. She gets up and Tian says that he is sorry. While getting ready, Yu tells him that he does not need to be sorry as it was not his fault. She tells him not to blame himself and that they both are the same person that they were before meeting each other. She also tells him to act as if nothing happened today. Chen keeps asking if she really is Oak, and it makes him feel bad that she is acting so rationally as if nothing happened. Yu tells him that would he be happy if she screamed and cried. She tells him that it happened. She leaves saying that they should forget about today and nothing happened between them. Chen quickly lifts up the sheets and says that forgetting is not easy and such a thing is very difficult to forget. He takes a pair of scissors and cuts the stain of the sheet. Chen leaves his room and wonders who could have set them up. He thinks that if the culprit took a picture of them, then you would be great trouble you. Just then, Dr. Wu appears and he asks where Tian was all this time and that they had been searching for him. The competition was about to start and all of them were worried sick. Tian tells them that he already knows and is heading to the hospital. Dr. Jinju appears as well and says that he was glad they found him as Tian is the backbone of the team. Jinju smells a slight perfume and starts sniffing Tian left and right. He tells Tian that he smells a perfume on him, a very expensive perfume which meant that Tian had not been missing, but in fact, he was with the girl the entire time. He teases Tian and asks if he had a good time with the girl. Tian tells him angrily that he shouldn't ask such questions if he values his life and that he would be happy to mute him for the rest of his life. Jinju tells Dr. Wu that Tian doesn't look like his normal self, that he didn't even provoke Tian, but he is acting that way. Dr. Wu tells him that maybe something happened which made him cranky. He advises Jinju not to mess with him today as he seems to be in a bad mood. Tian goes to the hospital and waits for the second round. During this time, Tian sits and is so pissed that everyone notices. Others say that he is really in a bad mood and if too much drinks from last night were the cause. Dr. Jin enters and taunts Tian for being so early and then goes on to degrade him by saying that you will beat Chan today and he will beat him so bad that Tian would go running to his mother and father. Dr. Wu was afraid of this as Tian was already in a bad mood and this big mouth had to come at the worst time. Shen tells him to get lost, but Dr. Jin adds more fuel to flame by saying that isn't he getting arrogant since they only won one round and that they had been losing for years before that. Chen asks so what if he is arrogant and asks that they are proud of their plastic surgery and Mosen challenges Dr. Jin. Tigan tells him in front of every day that he will challenge him in a plastic surgery battle and beat him in his own specialty. The room falls quiet and the country A team starts to laugh. They ask if his mind is in the right place. They tell him that he is guaranteed a loss and won't win in that battle. Dr. Jin laughs and tells him that he must be crazy to suggest such a challenge. Tin, who was already super pissed, points to Dr. Jin and tells him that he will beat Jin in his own specialty, and that he will beat him to the ground in what he does best, which makes Jin angry as well. Jinju tries to tell Tian that they can't win against them in a battle in plastic surgery, but Dr. Wu stops Jinju and tells him that he does not need to worry since Tian might actually be able to do it. The head doctor then decides that round 3 will be on plastic surgery, and right now that must focus on the round at hand and be ready for round 2. A patient enters the room with a deformity in his back. The head doctor explains that the second round is a test of technique and that they must treat this patient. He explains that the patient has scoliosis and he can never stand up straight, but they don't have to cure him, just help relieve his current symptoms. Dr. Wu tells him that some mild cases of scoliosis can be treated and some deformities can be cured, but this patient is impossible to cure since he has been deformed for years. The head doctor knows and only wants the doctors to help him out as he can't be cured. Jinju thinks that the spine of this patient is totally deformed and that usually a spine supports all the weight, absorbs any shock, protects as well as makes sure there is proper movement. He adds that if they make any mistake, the patient could be paralyzed and that this is an extremely tough task. Even Dr. Jin states that he can't be cured and that they can help him with the pain using a brace. Meanwhile, Tian walks over to the patient and eats a powder that contains beef and it gives him strength. He heads to the patient and quickly slaps him on his back with all his might. Everyone is shocked and can't believe what they saw. The patient falls to the ground. Dr. Jin yells at Tian that what he did is crazy and that the spine is the central bone and his actions could have paralyzed him. The patient asks who hit him as his back hurts and he stands up straight, which shocks them again. Jinju can't believe it, as well as the patient is standing up straight. Dr. Jin also can't believe how his spine is straight again. The patient notices that he can stand up straight and jumps with excitement since he can't believe that he is cured. Jinju is happy that Tian won again, as well the rest of the Team China who can't believe that Tian fixed an impossible deformity in just a second. Jin points at Dr. Jin and tells him that he will see him in round 3 and that he also looks forward to the motion picture that they will direct as agreed upon and leaves. Dr. Jin is pissed and can't believe it. The head doctor tells Dr. Jin that they may have won this round, but the next round will be different since plastic surgery is the nation's specialty, and that they can't lose as it is what the nation is most proud of. He tells Jin that he must win the plastic surgery battle, and not only win, but also humiliate the losers as well. Dr. Jin cooked up a plan and that night gave a conference and led the news about the competition. He riled about the nation, saying that the Chinese team could beat them in plastic surgery. The nation was furious, and all of them called Tian a loser and that their Chinese method is nothing. The next day, the press arrives and asks Tian if he was the arrogant guy from China who thinks that they can beat country etch in plastic surgery. He asks if he was prepared to lose. Dr. Wu and Jinju are shocked to see reporters here. Tian knows that it must have been that prick Jin who leaked the info. Dr. Wu asks why he would do that, and Tian replies that they want to make sure they lose and are embarrassed in front of the entire country since he was challenging the country who are known for their plastic surgery, and that is their pride and joy. Dr. Jin appears and asks all of them to get to the operating room and start the competition. Jinzu accuses Jin of being shameless and that this was supposed to be a private medical exchange and that he leaked the news. Jin tells him that it's just a normal contest and nothing to be shy about and that there is no rule that forbids media exposure. Jin then tells the reporters that they can broadcast the performance in the country. Tian thinks that this might play to his favor. The reports show the broadcast and that the contest has begun. He explains that there are two patients who have the same degree of facial injuries and both doctors will operate on them depending upon which patient is better after the surgery will show which doctor is the better one. After some time, the reporter tells the nation that Dr. Jin, after 3 hours of surgery, is finally coming out. Dr. Jin tells that the surgery was a success and that the bandages will be removed in 10 days. He then taunts Tian that it's his turn next and that he hopes Tian puts up a good fight, otherwise people might think that they are being bullied by country H. Jinsu tells them that even if they win this round, they have still lost 2 out of the 3 battles, and they will still be mocked after this for losing. Both Tian and Jinsu laugh at Jin. Tian taunts Jin and says that some people are scum and need to be set right in their own ways and that they must be taught a lesson. Jinshu agrees and says that they hope the losers don't cry like babies after they lose. Jin is pissed hearing this and tells Tian to hurry and get started on his patient. Tian says that if he is so eager to lose in front of the whole world, that he won't stop himself and enters the operation theater. Dr. Wu asks why isn't he bringing an assistant with him. Tian says that he can handle such a small operation on his own and that anyone is welcome to come and watch this. Shin pours one of his drugs in the water and it makes the bowl water black. The doctors are amazed to see that the drug dissolved into the water and they ask what this astonishing medicine is. Tian then dips a cloth in the water and starts to dab the patient's face with it. Jin asks if this is what Chinese medicine actually is and that it's not plastic surgery, but just some simple Chinese herbs. Even the head doctor agrees. Dr. Wu thinks to himself that Tian's use of such techniques have always amazed them all, and that even though he used normal medicine and herbs, the combinations and mixtures are just unpredictable. Shiden then starts to debride the wound. He cuts off some excess skin, which shocks the doctors as well as they can't believe that Qian didn't use anesthesia on the patient. And what's even more amazing is that the patient didn't even feel anything. They think that the powder he used has some anesthetic effect. They can't seem to understand this at all. Tian then wraps the patient's face in bandages. He tells them that the surgery is complete and the dressing can be removed in 3 days. Dr. Jin laughs and says that the operation took 5 minutes and the dressing can be removed in 3 days. He mocks his plastic surgery and calls it disfigurement. Tian leaves and mocks him that he doesn't care about his comments and that he will love to watch his performance after he loses. After 3 days, the results are in and we see many reports waiting outside for the outcome. Everyone wanted some action since a young man challenged the pride of country. The patients are ready to see the results and the doctors appear. Dr. Jin's patient is unwrapped and her scars have been treated well. Dr. Wu also applauds Jin's expertise since the operation looks this good in only 3 days. He tells the patient that after full 10 days and proper healing, the scars would be gone, and they will be back to their original self. Dr. Jin says that he has better expertise and calls this work average. He then asks what became of Tian's patient. He laughs and says that 5 minutes of surgery will only bring ruin to the patient's face, but Tian does heed his comments and removes the bandages from his patient's face. Everyone is amazed to see the patient and that she has made a complete recovery with no scars. Even Dr. Jin is shocked that how could such a surgery on the face be possible? The doctors of country H question Tian and say that such a surgery is not possible, and that in 3 days no one can provide a full recovery. Dr. Jin also says that no technology of this era can fix this so quickly. The head doctor admits defeat and can't believe that they lost. Dr. Jin can't believe it either that their country's national art in which they excel has been defeated. Tian smiles and thanks them for the reports they had arranged, and that now they will be humiliated in the entire world. The head doctor instructs his subordinate that reports must not know about this and that they must somehow stop the news of this from leaking. The subordinate leaves to take care of the reports. The head doctor then announces China as the winner of the contest. Everyone is super excited and can't believe that they won. Dr. Wu thanks Tian for this win and tell him that today will be a big celebration. Later in the night, celebrate with a feast. Chairman Zhu thanks Tian for the victory and is embarrassed that if he had a granddaughter, he would have married her away to Tian. Jinju, taking advantage of the happy moment, requests Tian the remedy of his issues, which he has been pleading for since the beginning, and asks for the cure. Tian writes him a prescription and Jinju walks away happily and thanks Tian for the prescription. Later on, as promised, Jin agrees to create movie in front of Tian, but Jin doesn't think that the actor is alright, but Tian says that he doesn't need a pretty girl to enjoy himself and that he should just go with the flow, and Tian yells action. Later at the hotel, Tian thinks that he should be more tough and act properly. He thinks that ever since the incident, Yu has not contacted him. He thinks to call her since a woman can't have the courage of that time. He tries to call her, but she doesn't pick up. Dr. Wu enters and calls someone shameless. Shen asks what happened, and Dr. Wu tells him that Country H twisted the facts and said that they won the surgery contest. Tian asks how that happened. The chairman tells him that they held a conference and publicly stated that they won, and they bribed the patient whom Tian cured in saying that Dr. Jin was the one who operated on him. Shen asks if they also won the entire medical contest, to which the chairman explains that they did not stoop to that level and only lied about the plastic surgery one. Dr. Wu is furious and yells that how can someone lie about winning when they clearly lost? Tian says that this was something they would do since plastic surgery was their country's main treasure and that they could not afford to lose that. He says that it was the only thing they could do to make sure they didn't lose. Shen then tells Chairman Zhou that they can use this to bribe them since they lied and that they can get some money from them. He also asks him to keep some money for him and not keep it all for himself. Chairman Zhu thinks that this idea is very good. Tian says that since he has taken care of this problem in country, he can go back to China. Dr. Wu and Chairman Zhou tell him that he can leave and thank him for all his help and effort. Chen heads back and still can't get used to riding in a plane. He meets Miss Cheng and hugs her. She tells him that she wants to show him something. They go to a huge building and Tian is shocked to see a company called Tian Sin International Group. Miss Cheng asks if he liked the company, and that he is the owner of this company. Tian blushes and asks if it really is his company. He thinks about the name and that how it used both the last initials from each of their names. He hugs Cheng and tells her that he loves it and asks why she do it. She tells him that she wants to see him rise up and be the greatest he can be, so that's why she used her money to set up the company, all 10 million that she had saved. She then vows to pay back her money. Cheng feels sad from the answer and asks if he thinks of her as an outsider. Tian says that she can never be an outsider and Cheng loves to hear that. Tian then promises her that he will make this company a huge success and ensures to build a proper business empire for her and only for her. Cheng tells him that the company is under his name and he can do anything he pleases. Tian thinks that only 10 million isn't enough and that they need to invest more in equipment, manufacturing, and other things as well. Miss Cheng offers to give more, but Tian refuses and tells her to keep it just in case. Miss Cheng leaves as she has some paperwork to do. Tian then thinks to call someone for help, but since Yu was a bit occupied, he called Y. Y receives a call from Tian and she is happy that he finally called. She calls him heartless for never calling her and that how he thought of her now. Tian replies over the phone that he was busy and after finishing all the work, he immediately thought of her. She smiles and tells him that he can stop the act since he only needs her money and he is just making it sound good. Shen asks how she knows that, to which she clearly tells him how his girlfriend built him a company and named it after him, as well as that she is running low on cash. Tian asks what her terms are and thinks that this girl has eyes on his every move. She tells him that she will invest 500 million for 1% of his company's share. Tian doesn't fall for it as he knows that such a big amount would leave anyone in awe. He tells her that he won't sell her even 1% as his company will soon be worth even more. Wei asks if he plans on getting the money free from her without giving anything. Tian says that he won't do anything and will only help Yu and her grandpa and will not heal any other family member for a year. Wei tells him that she will send 200 million in his account by tomorrow. Wei thinks that if he took advantage of her, and that if she does this because he feels as if she owes him. The next day at the Aoyang group meeting, Yu's uncle asks what she has to say for herself. She tells him that she has already said enough. His uncle accuses her of having an affair with Tian, and that she is a disgrace to Aoyang family since she lost her virginity, leaving Yu speechless. Her uncle asks if Brother Ren has something to say. He thinks that now he can flourish. Uncle reads the rules and tells her that she has to temporarily go away and that she can't handle family matters, only business matters. Yu takes the decision lightly and asks to be arrested. She asks who tipped him off, but he tells that the story is already out and that they only need to listen carefully. Hao stands up and tries to defend Yu as she had nothing to do with it. His uncle thinks that what has gotten to him and he is not the same. He then tells Hao that his grandfather set the rules and that they have no right to change them. Hao explains that until Grandpa is in coma, they can manage, and when he feels better, he will use a fierce parachute on a set. Even Yu thinks that what is Hao doing since he doesn't take a stand of anyone. Uncle gets hurt and tells them that they must follow the rules until Grandpa wakes up. Back at Yu's office, her father asks if something has changed. She tells him that she was framed, to which her father asks if Tian is actually the person who did all this. She tells him that even Tian was a victim of this, and that he doesn't need to give an explanation. He tells her that he was the reason she got expelled and that she needs to work properly on recovering her name and family. Yu thinks that she should call Tian but hesitates. She thinks that what should they talk about? Later on, Hao meets Tian for dinner and explains the situation about Yu and asks him to help since he can do all those things. Tian is astonished by the family and that they will do anything and not let a woman appear for her job. Hao explains that he is the best doctor in the world and that he would love to help Yu climb back the ranks. Shin asks what he wants and that in return he must want something. Hao follows up and asks him to leave Miss Chang, but Qian knew this would happen and tells him that he knew Hao was not that humble. He tells Hao that Yu has always devoted her heart to her family and that they are treating her like garbage and that she will defeat them. Hao asks if he will agree or not. Qian thanks Hao for the valuable lesson and that he can now leave. Hao warns him again and leaves. Later, Chan calls Yu and then texts her that he is coming to her office to confront her. Yu receives a text from Tian saying that Yu will be under her building in 5 minutes, and if she is not there, then he will surely call the police. He responds again, but this time Yu steps out to see him since it has been so many days. They meet for coffee and talk. Tian tells her about Hao and that he exposed everything about her. Yu knows and thought that he did all this in exchange for her ex-fiancé. Shin asks if the culprit were found, and Yu tells him that now they have a bigger problem, since the incident is known to have spread in the Yi family as well. Tian's so choked to hear this and can't believe it. She tells him that in each version she is labeled as a victim. Yu apologizes for bringing him into trouble. Tian tells her that she does not have to worry and that a lot of people are out to her family. She tells him that women are vulnerable and are always easy to remember. Tian then mentions that out of all this mess, he can finally afford to create supplements and medicines for her grandpa to cure him, and that soon when he wakes up, he can set them straight. Hearing this makes Yu so happy, and she asks why sudden change of heart. He tells her that he just wants to and asks her to arrange a time for her to meet old Anyang. She leaves to make preparations. Tian starts to think again and that whoever planned all this did not want Yu at board meetings, which makes the culprit even more dangerous. At the Yi family house, old man Yi discussed the alliance of the Ouyang family with the Yi family, which will help them a lot. He asks if after seeing this opportunity will return home. Uncle asks why Miss Yu has been suspended and in doing so may cause issues if they tie relations with Miss Yu. Grandpa Yi agrees and asks to meet Tian, which makes his father really happy. Uncle Yi says that Tian is very hostile to the Yi family and that he won't help at any cost. Grandpa Yi knows of the consequences and makes similar arrangement. Later on, they call Tian as if he was a saint. Tian comes to the Yi family house, and even his father is shocked to learn that Tian came himself to meet them. Grandpa Yi asks how he came here so easily, to which his father replied that he just came to meet you. Grandpa Yi and Tian talk, and Grandpa Yi tells him that he is his grandfather and that he should be nice, but Chan is not nice to him and does not want to call him Grandpa, which makes Old Man Yi angry. Old Man Yi then goes straight to business and asks how he got his medical skills. Tian tells him that he won't tell him any of that and that they should play such a game which involves his emotions. His grandpa tells him that if he was capable, he would never have thrown him out. Old Man Yi then tells him that he heard what happened to Yu and that now he must treat her well. This pisses Tian off, and he yells at Old Man Yi that he had warned him not to play the emotional card and that why didn't he think of his grandson back when he was thrown out. He tells him that now he is so successful and a big shot, everyone wants him back. He tells him that he will return to the Yi family, but it will be his own Yi family as he will kick everyone out. He then tells that he will tell everybody, then to get lost, just as they did to him. Shin leaves saying that their day is coming and be prepared. His father asks what happened, and the Old Man Yi tells that he is very hostile towards them and that he won't give any advice for them, and that they must find another way as to how he becomes so good or to get his skill. Tian on his way back thinks that Yi family only cares about his medical skills and that he gets set with Miss Yu. He hates that still everyone just wants him to use him for their own gain. On his way back, he sees Sui stepping out of a car. Tian is amazed to look at Siki, but is also shocked to see her, as usually she would kick him and injure him. Right now she looks happy. Tian teases her and asks if she is in love with him and if so he can't have a girl falling in love with him. She taunts him that she still wouldn't fall for him even if all men died except him. She asks him to take her to see Grandpa. They arrive at Old Man Ning's place and he greets them. Grandpa asks why she is angry yet again and if she hit Chan this time as well. Siki recalls their ride there and how he kept watching her bosom and butt the entire way. Chan tells him that he was just admiring her granddaughter's beauty. Old Man Ning asks Siki to leave as they need to talk. Old Man Ning talks to Tian about his pill and that the recipient used it and is fine now. They were so pleased that they wanted to buy a lot. They had offered 100 million and Tian says angrily that Wei offered 500 million for the entire company and he still refused. Old Man Ning says that he should consider helping the poor, but Tian asks that he did that, then who would take care of him? Old Man Ning talks to Tian about his pill and that the recipient used it and is fine now. They were so pleased that they wanted to buy a lot. Tian tells him that his answer is no. Old Man tells him to rethink his options. Tian says that he might, but he is almost always careful and does not always listen to the higher-ups. Tian tells Old Man Ning that not matter the expertise, none will be able to recreate his pill. Guang gets angry at the masked man and accuses him of being untrustworthy. He tells him not to forget whose side he is on. The masked man responds by saying that Tian is his great benefactor and that he has no interest in his money. He challenges Guang for slandering him. Shin accuses Guang of being dirty and unfair. Guang turns around to face Tian. Tian grabs Guang by his shirt and warns him that there are reporters present, sparing him this time. However, he threatens Guang that if he crosses him again, he will make sure he regrets being born in this world. Shin releases Guang and Guang ignores him. A reporter remembers Tian as the renowned Dr. Yi Wooten. Wang asks Tian why the injured person doesn't feel pain and what kind of medicine he uses. Tian smiles, thinking that Wang asked a good question. Tian then raises a box containing pills promoting the products of their company, Tangxin Beauty Group's Qingqing Pill. Wang asks about Qingqing Pill, wondering if it can make people beautiful. Wang also reminds Tian to treat her to dinner later. Chang explains that her skin became glowing and tender from taking the Qingqing Pill. She suggests asking a female reporter to try it if they don't believe her. A female reporter volunteers and asks how many pills to take. Cheng replies that one pill is enough and taking more won't make it more effective. She gives the pill to the reporter who, under the agreement of Yi Wuxian, goes to the hotel bathroom to take it. An hour later, a miraculous scene unfolds as the reporter emerges looking stunningly beautiful. Everyone is amazed and can't believe their eyes. They are eager to know more about the story and prepared to make it a headline. Even Donald Trump loves it and predicts that the pill and Tangxin Beauty Group will be a hit. After the news about Tangxin Beauty Group and Qingqing pills spread, they gained significant media attention. The media highlighted that the video footage was genuine and unedited, emphasizing the remarkable effects of the pills. The news portrayed the pills as a miraculous elixir, and the demand for them skyrocketed. Tian's sisters are surprised to see their brother on TV once again. Guang mentions that during the press conference, Tian displayed arrogance by claiming he would make others go back to the streets. Guang continues to criticize Tian, stating that he has become a rotten person. Tian's grandfather recognizes the significance of the pills and believes that it would greatly benefit their family if Tian were to return. He asks Hang to talk to Tian and convince him to come back home. Hang responds that he has been trying to communicate with Tian as a partner, without any personal motives. He even offered to allow Tian to return to the family and acknowledge his ancestry. However, Hang recalls Tian's disrespectful response where he flipped him off and demanded a high price for his cooperation. Tian becomes furious at Hang's words and accuses him of being arrogant. In anticipation of everyone, 4 days quickly passed, and it was finally time for the patient to have their bandages removed. Tian notices Secretary Zhou and Dr. Wu and asks them why they are here. Zhou explains that he just returned from country H and heard that Tian has started his own company, so they rushed over. Zhou informs Tian that 10 million has been transferred to his account from country H. Tian, however, dismisses the amount as not being significant and expresses that he never expected to make a fortune from such small funds. He then requests a favor from Zhou, stating that he is unsatisfied with the medicine available in the market and plans to grow his own herbs. Tian asks for a piece of land, suggesting that 1,600 acres would be suitable. Secretary Zhou is shocked by the request for 1,600 acres and explains that even the top officials in Dongchang would struggle to grant such a large piece of land. Dr. Wu points out that in the plastic surgery competition against country Evs, they used the treatment of Chung Sami, which involved the use of Qingqing pills. Tian then agrees and states that the moment of truth is here as the bandages are about to be removed. Cheng, on behalf of the Tangxin Beauty Group, expresses gratitude to everyone for their presence on this important day. Cheng then continues by stating that a few days ago, everyone witnessed the remarkable effects of the pill on the skin. However, today they aim to demonstrate that the pill's effects are not limited to skin improvement alone. She confidently declares that the results they are about to reveal will astound the world. Every reporter in the room becomes even more excited, eager to capture the moment when the gauze is removed. They understand the significance of this moment and the need to capture every detail without missing a single second. Cheng instructs the nurse to carefully remove the patient's gauze, and as it is unveiled, they all witness a miraculous transformation. The bald man who previously had severe facial injuries now appears completely healed, with no trace of his previous condition. The reporters express their astonishment, realizing that it is indeed the same person who looked like a ghost just 4 days ago. Everyone is filled with awe and amazement at the miraculous transformation witnessed during the press conference. Cheng proudly declares that the first step of the Tianxin Beauty Group has been a resounding success. Dr. Wu, now starting to admire Tian as a miracle maker, expresses his admiration and excitement for the potential impact of mass-producing the pill. Tian confidently states that from this moment on, Tianxin Beauty Group will be known worldwide. After the press conference, news reports flood in from both domestic and foreign media, making the conference a primetime topic. The popularity of the Tianxin Beauty Group skyrockets, with some even labeling the Qingqing pill as a miraculous breakthrough for humanity. For China, the Qingqing pill represents more than just a beauty product. It symbolizes their dominance in the field of plastic surgery and their ascent to the top of the world stage. Tian, as the creator of the pill, is hailed as the father of the Qingqing pill, a title that further elevates his reputation and achievements. Everyone is so impressed on what Tian did. Sticky reluctantly informs Master Ning about Tian's appearance in the newspaper once again, wearing a discontented expression. Master Ning stares at her intently, then asks her why is she paying too much attention to Tian recently. It seems that Master Ning speculates that Siki has a thing for Tian. Siki faces away and with a tsundere expression on her face says that she is just finding the right opportunity to beat Tian up. Master Ning scolds her temper, asking where she got it from, then orders her to locate Tian for he has something to discuss with him. Master Ning looks down with a distraught expression on his face, thinks that Tian has taken things too far this time. Meanwhile, at Tianxin Beauty Group, the office is inundated with a barrage of calls from eager individuals seeking to acquire the product that was recently showcased. Some are even offering 100 million just to pre-order the medicine. Cheng comfortably sits on the couch while informing Tian about what's happening in the office. She urges Tian to expedite the process of determining the price for the Qingqing pill, as hospitals and influential figures are anxiously awaiting the opportunity to purchase shares from their company. Tian just smiled at her, as he plans to use hunger marketing strategy to his advantage. He sat on the couch as well, hugging Cheng from behind and ensuring her that the hungrier the market becomes, the more money they will earn. They will wait until the market goes crazy with hunger. The romantic atmosphere was halted by a sudden text message from Hang Dongyi, Tian's father, warning him about the Yi family seemingly plotting against Tian. Tian reads Hang Dong's message with anger, yet he dismisses it nonchalantly, asserting that he has never been concerned about the actions of the Yi family. Suddenly, one of their employees came barging in the room saying that they have been fined by the Industry of Commerce and Industry of Health. The employee continues to say that the report states that they are not up to standards, therefore they have to pay 4 million and have to shut down their business. Tian, seemingly expecting this kind of situation, tells her employee that he got it and sends her back to her desk. Cheng screamed out loud in the room, audible to the outside office, as she reads the 4 million reparation fee. Cheng's worries are indeed valid, considering their company has yet to commence operations and is already facing substantial fines along with the possibility of being forced to shut down. Cheng suspects that there is something fishy is going on, while Tian remained composed as if it's not a big deal to him. He told Cheng that he'd be out for a while and ordered Cheng to handle the case by herself. Cheng pouts because it's as if Tian, the CEO of the company, doesn't care about his own company. Cheng confronted their employees and dismisses them, saying that the company will be on a holiday starting now so they can all go home. If Tian wasn't worried, then the same should apply to Cheng. Tian walks about the streets while thinking to himself that he did not expect retaliation so quickly. He was then halted by an SUV that stops in front of him. It was Siki, who was amazed by Tian's nonchalant attitude. Tian gets in Siki's car as they exchange few insults with each other. Tian says that Siki is not his wife, so there is really no need for him to be considerate towards her. In response, Siki told him that he is not her husband as well, so she is not required to be gentle with him. Not before long, they began bickering at each other again. Tian tells Siki to be her wife if she wants him to be generous with her. Siki then tells him that if Tian wants to be her husband, he has to pay the price. Realizing what she just said, she stepped on the pedal and tells Tian that no one wants to be her wife. Shan and Siki arrived at the Ning residence, where Master Ning is waiting for them. Master Ning immediately noticed the awkward atmosphere between the two, so he asked them what's wrong. Tian instantly voiced out his complaints about Siki's driving speed reaching 200 km per hour on public road. It was so fast that Tian almost pissed himself. Sticky did not even feel guilty about her actions and just told Tian off. Master Ning then dismisses Siki out for he has to have a discussion with Tian in private. Siki slams the door as usual as she goes out of the room. Leaning against the door, she blushes, indicating that she is still preoccupied by Tian's words about marrying her. Siki gave the thought a considerable amount of time, even considering the issues that would arise if his fiancé finds out about it. Totally puzzled, she sat on the floor while contemplating. Going back to Master Ning and Tian. Master Ning finishes the character he is writing on a piece of paper and says that it's for Tian. Tian shows his gratitude immediately but tells Ning that he doesn't know what the character means. Master Ning then explains to him that Tian is not fully aware the true value of his Qingqing pill. That pill is something other country would be jealous of. Switching to a more serious tone, Master Ning asks Tian if he can protect the Qingqing pill, leaving Tian lost for words. Master Ning continues that Tian is not yet powerful enough to protect himself, let alone the Qingqing pill, so he suggests that he should hold the pill off the market first and build his strength up. Tian did not like Master Ning's suggestion and told him that the pill will be on the market no matter what. It turns out that the character that Master Ning wrote earlier contains the word patience, which Tian is lacking. Even so, Shen is determined with his course of action and will not listen to Master Ning's reasons, so he was offered protection by the military, to which Tian says that he will give it some thought. Finally, Master Ning asks Tian if he needs help dealing with the Yi family. With a murderous aura, Tian says that he will handle the Yi family alone. Master Ning was left staring at him with concern. Tian meets Yu in the city and offers her to be reinstated back to her rightful position in the Aoying family, which left Yu shocked. Well, that's all for today. We will catch up in the next episode.